Okay, good morning, guys. A great day, last 2 days. Obviously, we had on Monday there was a little fear in the market. We made a reversal, and then yesterday a very nice recovery across the board, right? Especially some tech names that ran up a lot, right? Yesterday, if you call some plays like Google, Facebook, Amazon, SC, Limited, right? I mean, these stocks made a huge move. Even Uber was right off the hooks, right? So congrats. A lot of great place. Ratio is extremely high. Winning percentage in our group. So congratulations to all of you guys. Some things that I'll go over today. The title says it all: Tesla, Apple, and Amazon. Can they have another second day today or maybe tomorrow? Right. I will go over the reasoning why that might be a play. And if you watched the Tesla video that was posted by Boogie yesterday, then you might already be a little ahead and know why Tesla might be going up a lot today. And pre-market is up because of Elon Musk. I'm gonna go over it, right? What exactly happened there? But some levels that we have on SPX. This is a SPY chart I'm holding, and 460. We're above this zone. We held this support zone under 450. Right now on the gamma levels, we have 4650. I'll just make these bigger. If you watch SPX, which I highly recommend, right? It's much cleaner and easier to understand. 4650 is resistance currently based on the price. We're trading near 4630ish, I believe, right now. Which eventually may become support if we take out 4650. All right, above this, the main resistance point we have is 4694, and so far the way the gamma has been laid out, year end 4700 around that level looks like a pin based on the options buying which has gone on. All right, and then obviously right now the support that we have is all the way towards 4600. All right, so 4600 is likely where we bounce from if we do a dip in the morning. Under 4600, obviously we have 4588, and then the levels are posted in the pre-market with all in much more details. But for now, 4650 is what we want. Right now, currently it's resistance, but above 4650, we want this to become support. And as long as we can float above 4650, we likely go higher. Another thing that you need to know, Qs tech will be more volatile than S&P. Just know this, right? So this can probably see, if we take out today's highs on the Qs, we likely see a much bigger move again today, right? And if we give up and by any chance gamma levels switch, any news come, any algo driven news come, then obviously market can all go in any direction. Then none of these things matter, right? There always are those short dips and buys that happen in the markets, but the overall longer picture, we are in a structure where we're likely going to go higher for the day, or at least float around. Indices might not make a bigger move. In tech, we're expecting a bigger volatility than S&P in the Qs. And so just keep that in mind based on the gamma report. Okay, and let's go with Tesla first. Right, it's the strongest stock in pre-market. Right, a month ago we drew this, so let me just change these trend lines finally. I think it's about time. So this is gonna go like this now. A very typical pattern. It's a book pattern, right? We all learn, if you're a technical trader and you've learned some things, then this is one pattern that you always come across. All right, and so here basically on this pattern, we held this support, the gap was filled. Okay, and I'll just make it clean. The gap was filled here, and what exactly happened here? Elon Musk was selling his shares throughout this last few weeks. We know the news, right? And he was selling. Obviously, if the CEO, the person who has the biggest holding, is selling, it's very hard for the stock to move higher. Amazon was a perfect example when both Bezos, Mackenzie Bezos and Jeff, when they were selling, Amazon didn't move, right? It just stuck in that one range. Okay. Now Tesla, Elon Musk, his goal was to sell close to 10% of his shares, which he did, and most of it were taxes. Okay, and but here's an interesting fact. He exercised 2.1 million shares, which are roughly worth $2 billion. Elon Musk, if you go through his filings, his number of shares has actually, even though he was selling, but his number of shares increased in the company. All right, because he exercised options. Every one option is 100 shares, and he exercised 2.1 million amount of shares. Okay, at $6. So that's almost $2 billion of worth. And now another thing, when the market was taking a dip past few days, when we had the increased volatility, a lot of put options were bought, and then a lot of hedging was done by the market makers that sold those puts. All right, they have to be short. Now, what's happening with the market being strong and holding? They need to cover those. All right, so now along with the positive news sentiment, going with that, there might be some short covering going on in Tesla, which is probably going to increase more volatility and a bigger move to the upside. All right, 1,000 is probably not out of the question, to be honest. I mean, I could be completely wrong unless some news come, they start selling it again. But Tesla, they usually say unwind when they start covering the stock. All the short positions that took place in the last 1, 2, 3 weeks, those positions now need to be bought back. Why? In order to decrease their exposure to the short side, and that's what's going to add more fuel to the fire. Okay. So Tesla is one candidate. Most of the candidates are in tech. So Tesla, personally, in the morning, if you're here, you want to look for a play. On a bigger account, you can probably just buy the $1,000 calls alone. I would not suggest buying it right at the open. Maybe wait for 5-10 minutes, let the stock settle. Maybe it gives us an entry around 950, 955-ish. From there, I would probably scale in small. And then if it takes out the high of the day, then it's likely a continuation towards the 50 DMA and likely towards the $1,000 magnetic level. All right. And for smaller accounts, if you want to play Tesla, options will be expensive. I would recommend vertical spreads. What exactly are vertical spreads? Right now, Tesla is trading at 973. Let's say Tesla comes down to 960, 955, and you want to play to the upside. I would probably buy a 965 call. Just an example. 965 calls might be going for, I'm just making up these numbers, 15 bucks. And depending on your account size, if you have a $10,000 account and you don't want to risk more than $500, maybe I will sell 975 calls at let's say $12, for example, and this spread may cost you a total of $3. All right, so instead of paying 15 bucks, I like paying $3 for this spread. Now obviously these amounts will vary. They could be more or less depending on the stock price at the opening, right? But let's say you buy this for $3. Your max potential here is 10, right? 10 minus 3, that still leaves you with $7 profits, or over 233% plus. All right, now here, another thing here is, let's say Tesla does not do much, it just stays around 970, 975, and you're still holding this spread into Friday. Tesla ends up closing at 970, for example. Anyone buying these $15 calls will be down heavily, but because you're in the spread, your 965 will still have intrinsic value of 5, which means you're still $2 in profits on your spread. All right, so for a small account, I would look to do vertical call spreads, not too far out of the money. The further you go out of the money, the spread will cost you less, but your percentage return is will be higher. Okay, so but I would go closer to the money, because $1,000 could be a pin level around there, and these are highly likely to work then. All right, for bigger accounts, if the stock dips, I will simply just look to load some $1,000 calls and then play accordingly and manage accordingly. It is a short week. The market is closed on Friday. Tomorrow is a full day, but Friday we don't have the market. So today treat it like a Thursday, and tomorrow treat it like a Friday. All right. So that's how Tesla, I would play Tesla vertical call spreads. And if you think Tesla pins in a range and you want some really high returns, which will be much more than calls, then you can do something called butterfly calls. All right, this is only based on Tesla holding above these levels or going up. Butterfly calls. I would probably do a range of 970, 1,000, and maybe 1,030. All right, you can switch these ranges. If you think that Tesla goes higher, then maybe you can even do 980, in my opinion, 1,020 or 1,040. All right, sorry, 1,060. So you're picking at 80-point range for Tesla to close, right? And if this you can get under 3, right, is worth it, in my opinion, right? Max profits are up to 40 bucks. But obviously these strikes, you want to buy what you think might pin. This middle level needs to be on tomorrow. It needs to be trading near here somewhere. Personally, I would probably go with 970, 1,000, 1,030. If the stock still goes up or holds around 1,000, these butterfly calls will more than probably double. And if you hold them until expiry and the Tesla is trading around 1,000 bucks, let's say pins 1,000, based on the open interest, I usually play them. Then obviously, you can probably get 300, 400, 500% on the butterfly calls. And it's a great play to play them with a bigger range for a very low price. All right, if you don't know what these are, obviously you don't need to play them. I would highly recommend that you do some research and learn how to do them. You don't need to do them today, but it's something new for you. So learn. There are many ways to make money in the markets. Many ways. You can make the money stock going up, down. You can play one of these strategies. They're very profitable when done at the right time. All right. So that's Tesla. Same thing with Amazon. We had a great day yesterday, recovered. This is very strong, very bullish, right? Even though it's in a range, they bought Amazon. They did not let it fall below. Now on a bigger picture, if I go on the weekly, I'll just quickly remove. I added some January calls, in case we do. It's a good trend. It's holding just based on the historical stats. It still needs above 3,500, but Amazon, a lot of also put options, there was a lot of negative gamma, a lot of put options were bought, okay, and then a lot of shorts were shorted. And now, if the market stabilizes and goes up, a lot of short covering will be done in this name as well. And this can also fly, right? And this is one of the good names. Not many people sell this name. The hedge fund, they're all holding. So if this gets legs, this can definitely make another big move, just like Tesla. Same way on Amazon, small count, I would look to do vertical call spreads, or maybe buy some calls, and it's a risk to reward. The rewards can be very rewarding this week if these stocks run again, okay. And then we all always recommend maybe buy 3-4 weeks worth of time in case the stock stalls for today and tomorrow. Maybe Monday and Tuesday it rips. All right, so buying time means you have more chances of being right. Again, in this market, you don't want to go in too heavy, because we can have any news at 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock. We can have anything to do with Omicron, however you pronounce it. But correct position sizing will be the key. There is still no direction in the market. The only thing we see is that we probably get continuation, and maybe it's a bounce here. All right, so we're kind of predicting. Okay, so your position sizing has to be right. And Joe Biden will be talking about the supply chain issues today. He's doing this. I don't think this was in the agenda. It just came when I was reading the news. So he is discussing supply chain today, right, which might move these stocks. All right, so remember that. And another candidate is Apple. All right, this has the potential to recover all the way towards 177, 178. All right, we did break to all-time highs on 6th December. Don't forget, then the next week we gave up some gains because of the market. Now we're recovering. Apple, personally, I'm looking to play Apple. Why? Because the options are cheaper. I don't want to get spreads personally this time. I want to play calls alone. So on Apple, I'm looking to grab 175 calls if I can get them around 40 cents. All right, around 40-45 cents. I'll see at the open what price we get. But because of time decay overnight and no gap up and a minor red, I might be able to get those calls at 40 cents. So I will probably grab those. Right, a small size again. If I buy 5 contracts, usually I'll go with 2. If I buy 10, I'll go with 3 or 4. If I usually buy 20, maybe I'll go with 5. If I buy 50, I'll go with 10, 15. So it depends, right? Because the returns I'm looking for, these will be higher. They're more than 100, 200%, which I'm looking for. Okay. Facebook, obviously a great day yesterday. We're opening a little below just by the averages, and you can see this in consolidation here. If this stock decides to break out to the upside, it's going to be a huge move, because they've been holding this near 330, 334 zone like a magnet, right? It keeps coming back here. So if the stock breaks out here and holds above this 335, and if we take out today's highs, there's a big move towards 340, 345. On Facebook, the calls which I was looking at today were the 335 calls. They closed at $2.59, I believe. Theta on these was I don't remember, but from morning I think it was 72 cents. Sorry, I could be wrong here. Just double check. And with the gap down, I'm expecting this to open up around 150, 160. If I can get these calls around $1.30. If I can get these 335 calls expiring this week around $1.30, I might jump in. Why? Because if Facebook pins 340 or 345 this week and the move is strong, these have a potential of more than 500%. All right. Now 500%. This gives me a ratio of 5 to 1. What does 5 to 1? What do I mean by this? Because a plays like this, when I make them, let's say if I make 5 plays, right? So my cost, and let's say I put in $500 each time. Okay. And let's say 3 go to 0. The worst case scenario, 3 go to 0. You're not going to be wrong every time. If you're putting in the work, you're actually going to be right most of the times. But the other 2 actually hit 500%, right? That's how much? $500, $5,000 less the 3 that went to 0. All right, that's $3,500 overall. You're up huge net. All right, that's what I mean. But obviously these numbers, this is just an example, a scenario I'm giving you, but that's how I usually look at my plays. So if this goes to 0, that's fine. It was my position sizing. It's a probability trade. Then you know what? Next time I'll catch it, and that should recover or give me more. But we did catch Facebook yesterday. Congrats. Google, another candidate, right? Reverse right back up. And I think this one goes towards the 50 DMA at least today. Right, I scaled out most of my options from Google because time decay was a lot. Right, I'm holding very small, which is a little less than my profits. So around 2,900, 2,890, I'm looking to scale out. And if it by any chance goes through and holds, then obviously we can have a big move to the upside if tech runs, right? And but this is all based on, again, gamma reports. If you read, excuse me, guys, if you read the gamma reports in our premium chat. right? We give up a lot of information, we give up a lot of useful information, so please go through it. And for gamma report, I will tell you one thing, when you guys read it, it's very easy to read and get the support resistance levels, but understanding the depth behind it is the real I think taste, right? I've been start putting a lot of work into it, and you know what, there's a lot more to it, and once you understand that, I mean, you can be confident about holding your positions, and you will be right even more, right? So as you grow older in the market, you want to learn more and more. You just don't want to play these resistance support patterns. If you're, that's very, it gets very boring, right? Then you know, sometimes it's good to dive deep into it and understand the markets, right? It will help you to hold positions which you might end up selling otherwise, looking at some resistance point. Okay, so those things, you actually become an expert, I guess, you can say. And that's it, guys. Just focus on these tech names, in my opinion. Twitter, another great call that was made by T. Nice little potential, right? I think above 44, as long as it holds, we can see 45, 46, 48, right? So Twitter looks great. Pins he mentioned also, which is making a very strong base. And if tech reverses and if these stocks go, these can see, if you catch a $1-2 move on these names, options pay really well. All right, and here they're actually holding here, and so let's see. Snap, Yash played this name yesterday, which is on my radar as well. And I really like Snap here as well. It's at a very critical support level, and I think this has some juice left to make its move towards 50. And if you catch this move from 46 to 50, options will double, triple, quadruple depending on your expiry, right? And Uber, LB played Uber yesterday. What an amazing move, right? Very impressed by this play. He caught this entire move. So congrats to the ones that played Uber. Absolutely amazing. And now it's near resistance. Does it continue going higher? Let's see. Maybe it can see 43, 44. But manage your positions. But based on this move from 36 to 42, that's almost a 15-20% increase in the stock. IV has increased. The calls are probably a bit more expensive than usual. All right. And SC, another name, a very nice bounce. And I think this name by tomorrow can roughly see this range, if I'm not wrong. It has a potential to go to this range by tomorrow, 240, 250. Nice little bounce. So that's the zone it has the potential to go to, right here in this zone. That's where likely the next stop is when it runs. So in between, there's not much resistance support, but here it's where I'm expecting, at least towards 240, 238 by tomorrow. Again, if the market holds, any news come out, something comes, then this was nothing but a trap, one of the biggest traps that happens, and then boom, market goes down. You know, the same scenario with many stocks. So NVIDIA, somebody asked about NVIDIA in the group. Chips are strong. Chips are very strong. NVIDIA bounced off the 50 DMA on the daily. And chips, I think, because of the Micron earnings, that brought a lot of positive sentiment back. They gave some great comments. And on NVIDIA, I can only say, as long as we continue holding above this zone right here, which is right here, above 290-ish, okay, 286, 290-ish, this can definitely make a move towards 300. 300 is probably a pin magnetic level because a lot of people were probably playing 300 calls and 300 puts. So they're likely going to pin NVIDIA at 300 tomorrow, in my opinion. I will have to look at the open interest on this. But if you're asking about NVIDIA and the market stays strong, it stays sideways, then 300 is the likely pin. All right. And guys, so the name, the title says it all. Tesla, Amazon, Apple. Keep an eye on them, because if these names do squeeze by any chance, the percentage return will be huge. So these are the names you want on your radar, the tech names, because the volatility will be higher. And if they really start covering them, Santa's come to town.